Ladies and gentlemen, I could be the first person on YouTube to tell you this, but first I want to read you a Newsweek article, May 27th, 2021. Matt Gaetz plans to run for president in 2024. And then it goes on to say, but only if Donald Trump doesn't. I'm reading you the Newsweek article, and I'm giving you, of course, my opinion and viewpoint based on that article from a couple of years ago, and also, of course, adding the fact that he led the charge and the opposition against Kevin McCarthy, which was an excellent thing, a wonderful thing. If you care about democracy, you should want 20 Republicans to oppose 200 Republicans, okay, for a number of reasons. You don't want lobbyists and business as usual in charge of politics. Kevin McCarthy didn't, Lauren Boebert didn't, and of course, media and all the people who think this is business as normal and business as usual is the best thing possible, we're opposed to that, okay? Of course, they want a party boss. Of course, you have traditional Republicans and Democrats revering and worshiping party bosses and political machines. This is no good. We have record highs in inflation, real wages down 7 to 8%. We're going into a recession, and we have a foreign policy that's a catastrophe now. In Europe, it's an endless quagmire. That being said, you needed somebody like Matt Gaetz to ensure that McCarthy could be removed and replaced with only one Republican and a no-confidence meeting or session of Congress to depose of Kevin McCarthy. That never used to be the case. That was one of the major concessions of McCarthy because Matt Gaetz spoke up and took on the entire establishment. That's the good thing. It's a very good thing. When you're Matt Gaetz and you're like Donald Trump in terms of foreign policy and economic policy, you oppose never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and military interventions and foreign policy chaos. Democrats, media are just okay with that. Traditional Republicans are fine with that. Matt Gaetz isn't. Trump isn't. Okay? We can go on forever about the differences between a person like Trump and DeSantis and Gaetz and people like Schumer or Pelosi or Kinzinger and Cheney, okay? Kinzinger, Cheney voted alongside Donald Trump 90+% of the time in Congress. Now Kinzinger is working for CNN. Why? He sided, just without any critical thinking with intel agencies and media and the Democratic Party against Trump. Didn't result in any indictment, but he got the public relations. So if you're fearful of media and public relations, if you live by that, and you don't mind never-ending military interventions, and you don't mind inflation and a recession on the horizon after we just had a recession, you're okay with business as usual with the traditional Republican and Democratic parties. Matt Gaetz is different. He's running for president. I can't tell you categorically in 2024, but he will be running for president, I think, even in 2024. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. There's already been writing backing this up, and I think the fact that he differentiated himself and he has created a huge base of voters who looked at Matt Gaetz and said, okay, that type of man, even more so than DeSantis if Trump didn't run. So Trump is my first choice, obviously, because I oppose never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And I want a great economy. We had record low poverty under Trump. But if Trump doesn't run, and he will, but if, heaven forbid, God forbid, Trump decided not to run, and if it was between DeSantis and Matt Gaetz, I liked DeSantis a lot. I still do. I'm picking Matt Gaetz over DeSantis. You tell me below, do you think Matt Gaetz is better than DeSantis? I think you probably do. What he did was phenomenal. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, for people who say he was investigated, so was Jim Jordan, so was Trump. They didn't find anything. They didn't indict him on anything. The Democratic Party utilizes government agencies against their political opponents. We found that out with the Twitter files. Right there. We caught them with their hands in the cookie jar and their pants down. Oh my goodness, I can't stand when that happens. We caught them with their pants down again. Democratic National Committee emails, what did they show? Okay, the truth, the actual truth, when they write emails and when they conspire when no one's looking, the truth about the Democratic Party makes you vote Trump or DeSantis or perhaps Matt Gaetz. But he's running. He will run for president. He'll get enough backing from around the country. Hit subscribe to this channel 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. every single day. I would love to share the mornings with you. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. And hey, if you're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, Socialist, Communist, if you are a conservative, it doesn't matter. God bless you. Have a beautiful, blessed, amazing 2023. I'm just happy you're watching. And if you hear this, have a beautiful and wonderful and healthy and awesome and joyful 2023. No matter where you are in the political spectrum. And no matter where you are in the world. 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. every single day on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Share the mornings with H.A. Goodman on YouTube. We are 70 subscribers away from 203,000 subs. Tell your friends about this channel. H.A. Goodman's other channel is doing better than I could have expected. My God, I only do 2 segments in the morning at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. and people love them. They're like 3 minutes long. So hit subscribe there. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. You become part of a newsletter there. To my new Patreons, thank you. If you want to support my work long term, greatly, greatly appreciated. And I see all the people who are supporting now, and thank you so very much. It's greatly appreciated. My Patreon link is below in the description section. And the super thanks is below as well. Become a member of this channel. So it's a very good thing. Here's why it's a very good thing, okay? When people, almost half the electorate chose Trump 2 years ago, okay? This is just according to the numbers. Okay. Trump had only 24/7 negative media coverage, 95% negative media coverage. There's not one supporter of Trump or Matt Gaetz or anyone at the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, The Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, BuzzFeed, Vice. Okay, this is a public relations monstrosity. Can you not find, is there not one supporter if you had almost half the electorate? Does that make any sense to you? That you have an entire public relations monstrosity, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, you can't even go to bed at night in the United States of America without hearing how terrible Trump is. You wake up in the morning, Washington Post, New York Times tell you how horrible Trump and Trump Republicans are. And then throughout the day, CNN, MSNBC, and an entire apparatus. And then you have Hollywood celebrities. Is there not one publication that has a supporter of Trump writing articles saying, hey, you know what? His economy was much better and his foreign policy was much better? Is there any emphasis on policies? Because Matt Gaetz was talking about what's taking place in the southern geographic region of our country. I mean, I have to address the wonderful algorithm. Okay, what's taking place at the southern geographic region of our country? It's worse. Where is AOC looking at a chain link fence in a photo? No, you don't get that photo. Democrats won't even vote for Medicare for all. Do you understand how duplicitous and disingenuous they won't even? They raised so much money from political action committees. I mean, the racket is unbelievable. I mean, it's like the money is on the left. So when I became a supporter of Trump, I did so because I saw the economy was fantastic and foreign policy was much better than what Democrats could offer. The antithesis of Lincoln Project foreign policy. But the mentality among some was, oh, he did it because of money. What? The money is on the left. Filtering down CNN and MSNBC talking points, Democratic Party narratives to younger or to millennials. That's where the money is. You have 1 million to 4 million sub channels. You have pundits making 30, 40 grand a month, 50, 60, 70. It's the same stupid narrative. Trump, democracy, Trump, 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 Trump. It's the same. It's not just a cottage industry. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. And still, Matt Gaetz and DeSantis and Trump and Jim Jordan and James Comer and Trump Republicans are showing the world, and Elon Musk are showing the world how duplicitous and disingenuous and, in many cases, treacherous the morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats can be. Not all of them, but a lot of them. People within power. And so there's no doubt they utilize government agencies against their political rivals. There's no doubt about that. You'd have to be a complete imbecile not to realize that. There's no doubt on the southern geographic region of our country there are atrocities that didn't happen under Trump. So the people who really cared when it was Trump, and I oppose certain things, like I want dreamers to become citizens. Okay? I've always wanted dreamers, and I will always want dreamers to become. I have friends who are dreamers. Guess what? A lot of them are very conservative on a lot of things. But Trump offered that. He said, get that wall done, and you can have and the Democrats said no. You can look it up. It's in ABC News. It's documented. Democrats do not address the promises that they were supposed to abolish ICE and push Medicare for all and the Green New Deal legislation they wouldn't even vote on. They were supposed to pack the Supreme Court. I mean, they had a list of all these absurd things they want to do. Medicare for all is noble, but it's not feasible. If it was feasible, you'd have Bernard Sanders or AOC push an actual plan in Congress. Then they say, no, you can't vote for a plan. Jimmy Dore was 100% right. But see, the thing is, if you are honest, if you see the truth of the Democratic Party, you're going to gravitate towards Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Trump and DeSantis. Even if you're on the left. You might lose some friends and family because they'll disown you. Okay? But that's their problem, their issue. That's a character issue. That has to do with integrity or a lack thereof. But anyway, Matt Gaetz can run for president. Would he win? Probably not. Would he gain traction? Could he grow an actual campaign? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's young. Could it be after a DeSantis presidency in the future? Yeah. Yeah. Mashed potato brains is like 110 years old. So Gaetz is what? He's what? And I don't know his exact age, but he's young. And so the fact that he was already talking about, in this Newsweek article, he was already talking about running for president. And you look now at his stock. If he was a stock, through the roof. I want somebody to go up against a corrupt system. Okay? I don't want a bunch of lemmings and, I don't want a bunch of sheep. I don't want a bunch of people afraid of their own shadow and afraid of negative media coverage. And I don't want somebody who just wants to fall in line and fit in and is afraid to be his own man or woman or person. I want somebody who, like Trump, I thought Bernie Sanders was like that. That's why when I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post, my writing, each article, was given a stamp of approval. Stamp of approval by editors, by the way. Hundreds of thousands of people read each article I wrote in those publications in 2015 and 2016. And I was obsessed with Bernie Sanders because I thought that he was the man to oppose never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and would bring us record low poverty, which is what we had under Trump. I thought that he was the type of individual who would get us to the Doha Agreement. But I was wrong. Apparently, he can't even address the fact that Bernie was cheated by the Democratic Party. But then, the wonderful, highly educated, morally superior, what they did was they said that the Kremlin wanted you to know that Bernie was railroaded. It was a sophisticated effort. You'd have to be You'd have to have no functioning brain cells to believe this nonsense. But a lot of people are very intelligent, but they want to believe, so they believe. Okay? And so if John Brennan or James Clapper, the Intel community, says the Loch Ness Monster exists and he was paid by Trump to devour people, if the Intel community says so, then you'll have all the pundits and CNN and oh yeah, it's true. It happened. And then when they back their absurd leaps of logic, they say, well, the Intel community said the Loch Ness Monster was paid by Trump. What do you expect? I mean, we had to investigate. But anyway, Matt Gaetz will be running for president. God bless him. Oh, and they investigated him. Just like they investigated Jim Jordan. Just like they're investigating DeSantis. Just like they've investigated Trump 1,000,000 times. They found nothing, by the way. You can investigate Hunter or Hillary in 2 days. You'll find endless trove of criminal activity. It's like unbelievable. Hillary, I think, will be the 24 nominee. Hillary Clinton, I believe, will be the 24 nominee. If Trump doesn't make peace with the Arizona and Georgia Republican parties, Hillary Clinton could be the first female president. Okay? She's now a professor. Okay? So there you go. But anyway, she is the professor, I believe. Where is she a professor at? Columbia. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. I believe Matt Gaetz is going to run for president. Let me tell you, I would pick him over DeSantis now, and I love DeSantis. But Trump is obviously my first choice. By the way, a wonderful channel, along with so many other channels that I watch, is Black Conservative Patriot. Get him to 1 million subs. He's on his way to 1 million subs, and he deserves it. And he is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great day. And tell your friends Matt Gaetz is running for president, because this Newsweek article is 100% correct. And I think that the Newsweek article was written May 27, 21. Matt Gaetz plans to run for president in 24. I think that he runs, he's going to get a lot of support if he continues to push up against a very corrupt system. You need individuals. It's really funny. Last thing, you have groups that rage against the machine, and all these groups from the 80s, 90s, and it's like even the punk bands that I love from the 70s and 80s. It's like the whole point was to be the 10th dentist. The whole point was to be that one person saying, no, I'm not going to do what you tell me. Now it's, I will do what you tell me. Now it's like, if you are not part of the herd, there's something, oh my God, wrong with you. Being an individual and not just doing what all the cool people are doing it, man. That used to being an individual and saying, no, I'm not going to do what everyone is doing just because, what? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to think for myself. That used to be celebrated. Give me your thoughts. It used to be celebrated. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.